Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to one-on-one at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of One-on-One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Quick ones editions, of course, as we're chugging along through the NFL season. I feel like every week I say the same thing, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there one more time. The season is flying by. I don't need it to fly by because I've been really enjoying this NFL season. It's been a wild one. A lot of teams sitting in that 5-win range have a chance to still make the playoffs. It's going to be a dogfight to the very end as we hit Week 13. And tonight, of course, we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the New Orleans Saints on Thursday Night Football. Should be a phenomenal one. Tonight. I'm going with Dallas, but it's going to be a tough one because Dallas has been dealing with a lot going on. No Coach McCarthy. Ben McAdoo will be coaching tonight because McCarthy is out due to COVID protocols. They may be getting Amari Cooper back. He definitely is traveling with the team, but we do not know what the final outcome of that will be. Nevertheless, we got a lot to get into, a little bit of time to do it. So we're going to go over these power rankings, going to break them down for you and let you know where we stand going into Week 13. Let's start it off right, ladies and gentlemen, with the bottom. All right, at the bottom, we got the Detroit Lions. I feel like every week we start the week show off with the Detroit Lions. Man, I tell you what, man, this team breaks my heart every time. Tough Thursday night game. Thursday midday game, I should say. Losing to the Bears 16-14. Another opportunity to win. I picked them last week. I want Dan Campbell to get his victory, y'all, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. At least that's the vibe I'm starting to get. I still, just think the guy needs some other talented players around. It's going to be a tough road if they can't make that happen. But we got the Lions at 32. At 31, the Houston Texans. They are 2-9. This Houston team took on the Jets team, two of the worst teams in the league. And this is, to be honest with you, you almost think if you're that team, you say, all right, you want to win to be competitive as for your players. But you also, as an organization, are thinking, you may not say it out loud, but you're thinking, man, I really want as high of a draft pick as I can get. Now, these guys are going to be up in there in that top 10 range, so that's not going to matter regardless. But if you're the Texans, you have more to lose than the Jets. If you're the Jets, you have more to lose than the Texans because the Texans pick goes to the Eagles. So it doesn't even matter. I feel like, or the Dolphins, it's one of the two because they've made so many trades with each other, but I know it's somewhere in that mix. Pretty much the Texans pick isn't their pick. But the Texans at 31 after a loss to the Jets, 21-14. Next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars who lost to the Atlanta Falcons, 21-14. That was pretty much Atlanta that whole game. The Jaguars fought back late, but it was just a little too late. And so, unfortunately for the Jaguars, they are sitting at 2-9 on the season. Next, we talk about the Jets, who got their third victory of the season, beating the Texans. So a nice victory for the Jets as they are now 3-8. Now, probably I would say the most stunning team on this bottom list. As the season goes along, you probably say maybe not so much stunning. But if you go back and look at before the season, you say, man, there's no way that this would be happening to this team, especially with, Russell Wilson at quarterback. Problem with that is Russell's been hurt. And so with Russell being hurt, he was out for a couple games. They had Geno in it. Even before Russell went down, they were still not in great shape. Russell's been back 2 games, and it just hasn't made a difference. That team is in shambles. They signed Adrian Peterson on Wednesday to the practice squad. We'll see if he actually plays on Sunday or not, or will they wait another week before they bring him into the fold? So the Seahawks, the most surprising team, they started our countdown, our power rankings at number 7 when we started this whole thing. Seahawks at 28. 27, the New York Football Giants. Now the Giants went out here and got a nice dub against the Eagles and getting winning 13-7. I definitely picked the Eagles in that one, so I was a little bit upset. But the Giants came in there, did what they had to do, and now just like that, the Giants are in the mix. And like we talked about it before, nobody is out in that playoff run. It's still a tight-knit race with 5 games to go. So we'll see how that all transpires. But the Giants are not out of that division just yet. Dallas has got to hold on tight. And then you got the Washington football team creeping up. So we got the Giants at 27. At 26, the football Bears. I was about to say the football Giants, but the Bears coming in at 4-7. The Bears getting their victory against the Lions. It's just one of those things where they're still trying to, get everything together. No Justin Fields last week. They had Andy Dalton come in and he got to eat the turkey leg, so he was the player of the game. I watched him gobble down on a turkey leg. He looked very happy about it. But the Bears are number 26. They haven't really moved from this spot in the last week or so. So they've been at 26 for a while, and they stay there with a 4-7 record. The Carolina Panthers, a team that has fluctuated on this list. They've been as high as they've been in the top 10, and they've flown all the way down, and now they're at number 25 at a 5-6 record, losing to the Dolphins. My Lone Ranger pick, baby. Nobody picked the Dolphins but me. I've been high on the Dolphins before the season, and even though they struggled and they went 1-7, it was good to see them kind of bounce back and do what they needed to do. So, but the Panthers struggling. Cam Newton, his worst performance as a quarterback, has 10 straight losses for Cam as a starter. So you don't want to say it's over. You never want to say that, for certain people, but it's starting to look that way. So Cam's got a lot of evaluating to do. And he's still got a couple opportunities to maybe make that thing happen. Next, at number 24, we got the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are low on this list for one main reason. That's that no steady quarterback play. Trevor Siemian did his best job he could. No Jameis Winston. He's out for the season. They were kind of rolling or in a good spot when Jameis was there, and it hasn't been good. And now Taysom Hill will start on Thursday night. So he will be starting tonight and see what he can do and maybe pull up the upset and put Dallas in a bad position. At number 23, the Eagles, 5-7, a team that I was really starting to look, on the up and up. I felt like if they could have got that win, they could be 6-6 and really push Dallas in the NFC East. But man, it looks like the Washington football team may be the team that's doing that now. The Eagles at 23. At 22, the Atlanta Falcons, 5-6. I can't really call Atlanta. I'm not even going to talk too much about them because I never know what I'm getting from Atlanta from week to week. But they're 5-6, and we got them at 22. Then the team that I'm most excited for in this bottom is the Miami Dolphins. They've won 4 straight. Now, imagine this as your season. You win the first game, you lose 7 straight. Now you're dealing with injuries, no Tua. It was just miserable. Most teams would have given up and said, you know what, I'm done, man. I'm not even worried about it. The season's over. Not the Miami Dolphins. Now, I had the Miami Dolphins, like I said earlier, going to the playoffs. They were in my playoff mix. And guess what? They're back in the playoff mix after winning 4 straight games. So, touche. Good job, Miami Dolphins. I like what I've seen from them. No quip. I'm a huge Brian Flores guy. I like his mentality as a coach. Still think he needs a couple more pieces there to truly put that Dolphins team where they need to be, but that defense is good. That Dolphins defense is good. So just remember how good that Dolphins defense is. So that is the bottom. Lions, Texans, Jaguars, Jets, Seahawks, Giants, Bears, Panthers, Saints, Eagles, Falcons, and Dolphins. I don't know, man. After this week, I think the Dolphins are going to be in the outside looking in, but we'll talk about that when week 14 is approaching us. All right, so those were our bottom teams, and now we head to the outside looking in. Outside looking in, we got the Vikings, the Washington football team, the Steelers, the Broncos, and the Raiders. Vikings coming in at 20, tough loss to the 49ers. And I picked them to win that game, and they disappointed me. And but that's how my last couple of weeks in pick'em have been. I've been right around the 500 mark. This Vikings team, just like the Chargers, there's a couple teams like them that they frustrate you because they're really good. They got really good pieces, but they can never get it altogether. The Vikings, and I dislike the Vikings as a Packers fan, but it's hard to see a team that's like, oh man, they could be really good. They just don't show up some weeks, or Kirk Cousins doesn't show up some weeks. You got Dalvin Cook that's hurt. So it's a lot that goes in the fold with the Vikings. At 19, the Washington football team, 3 straight victories. They were looking like it was over, man. Like we were talking about the next quarterback, but Taylor Heineke has showed up and showed out. So much love to Taylor Heineke, the ODU product, going out there and showing that he is the guy, or should be, or at least making a case that he should be the guy in Washington. And so Washington now at 5-6, they have at the current time hold that last playoff spot in the NFC, and they would have to take on the Green Bay Packers if the playoffs started today, and they would have to head to Lambeau. That would be a tough task, but I mean, hey man, Heineke, boyhood, moment, taking on his favorite team growing up, wearing Brett Favre's jersey. That spells bad news for me. So I'm going to skip on. Next, we got at 18, we got the Steelers. Steelers, one of those teams I really don't know what to make of. They got destroyed by Cincinnati. Destroyed. First time Cincinnati has swept the Steelers in years. So they went out there and they just put a licking on them. It just wasn't pretty. So the Bengals have beat up on the Steelers and they beat up on the Ravens during this season, but then lost to the Browns. Tells you how crazy the AFC North is. 17, the Broncos. This Denver team, 6-5, in the playoff mix. Like I said, everybody's pretty much in the playoff mix. But I just really don't know what to make of this team. Some days I'm like, man, this team is amazing. And some days I'm like, man, what is this team doing? So it's really a combo package. But for me, I got them at 17. Teddy and the boys, find a way to win games they're not supposed to win. And then they're always competitive. So I want to give them credit. Like I picked the Chargers. Everybody in the network picked the Chargers except for our man Joe Dillard, who Lone Rangered the Broncos. So kudos to Joe. Next at 16, we got the Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, big win on Thanksgiving against Dallas. Big win. I mean, I saw a stat during the game that had me puzzled. Derek Carr is 6-0 now. And now he is 6-0 when he throws for over 300 yards. If he throws for under 300 yards, they lose. They're 0-5. So key to winning in Vegas, let Derek Carr throw for 300 yards, and they will win the Super Bowl, at least according to statistics. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's the outside looking in. The Vikings, the Washington football team, the Steelers, the Broncos, and the Raiders. All right, now we hit our top 15. And actually staying at 15, didn't make any moves this week, the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are number 15. They're 6-6 on the season. And they took a really tough loss on Sunday night to the Ravens. Man, that Lamar Jackson just finds ways to make things happen. I tell you that much. I'm going to get the honor to see Lamar in person in a couple of weeks as they take on the Green Bay Packers from Baltimore. I'm going to travel up there with my son. It's going to be a very interesting thing and a nice birthday present for myself. But we got the Cleveland Browns coming in at 15. 14, the Los Angeles Chargers. 6-5. The Chargers took a very tough loss to a Denver Broncos team. Denver came in there and they just punched them in the mouth in the discussion. But you probably said, well, Darrell, shouldn't the Broncos be ahead of them? No, because the Chargers overall have the better talent. And I almost gave them, usually I give them the edge if they beat them during the season, but I'm still going to give the Chargers just a baby edge over the Broncos right now, even though that Broncos defense is looking phenomenal. At 13, the San Francisco 49ers. This team has been near the top, top 10, then slid all the way back out, have popped right back in. They're playing really good football team lately, and this is a team that you do not want to mess or see during the playoffs because right now they're playing really, really good football. So watch out for this San Francisco 49ers team. And Deebo Samuel, absolute monster. Number 12, the Indianapolis Colts, 6-6. They have played some really tough games, tight games, but they're a really good football team. And in some instances, they haven't been able to close. I really do think they're way better than what their record indicates. So you got to watch out for this Colts team because if they make the playoffs, they could be a problem, a huge problem. At number 11, the Los Angeles Rams. This team has fallen from grace. 3 straight losses, and none of them have been pretty. Losing to the Packers. They lost to the 49ers. These games that they've lost have just been, they just haven't been pretty. That's the nicest thing I can say. So the Rams are struggling. They're at one point were 7-1. Now they're 7-4. And with the 49ers creeping up, they better watch out. At number 10, the Cincinnati Bengals. Another beautiful win for Cincinnati, winning 41-10 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Cincinnati is one of those teams kind of wild card because their defense isn't great, but their offense is loaded with young talent. And they're ready to make a push and make the playoffs and maybe make some noise. At number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs won a bye last week, so now they come back this week. And the Chiefs are going to be ready to, get back in the fold. They got the Broncos. That's a big AFC West battle, because if the Broncos win, then the Broncos are right back in the mix of being the division leader. So we'll see how that goes. Number 8, the Tennessee Titans. Now, Tennessee, the only AFC team on our countdown to ever be number 1. It's all been NFC teams. The only teams that have strike number 1 on our countdown have been the Buccaneers, the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Titans, and the Packers. Those are the only teams that have ever been number 1 on this power ranking countdown. But the Titans have fallen from grace. They were number 1 2 weeks ago. They dropped from 1 to 4, and now 4 to 8. So Tennessee nicked up big time. No Julio, no Henry, no Marcus Johnson, another one of their guys that they brought in. He's hurt. He's done for the season. They released Adrian Peterson. They've been trying to figure out things and trying to keep afloat in the AFC. But right now they are currently the 3 seed, I believe, in the AFC. Number 7, the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have fallen for grace too. The Cowboys' highest they've been on this countdown is 3. They've been in the top 10 the entire season. But they've been in the mix, but they dropped down a little bit. They've lost 3 out of their last 4. So it's been a tough road for Dallas. They've got to find themselves. Tony Pollard has been balling out. They've got to figure something out from there. Number 6, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, big win against the Saints, smacked up on them, beat up on them, beat the Saints 31-6. And that's where we said the Saints, I don't know if it would have been too much difference with Jameis in there. I thought it might have been a little bit more competitive. But like I said, Taysom will start tonight, so we'll see what goes there. But Buffalo is at number 6. At number 5, all right, look, I'm not a New England Patriot guy per se, but it's hard not to like this New England Patriots team. There's no Tom Brady there, so that's not an excuse. Yes, Bill Belichick is there, but Bill Belichick is probably doing one of his best coaching jobs ever. That defense is phenomenal. Number 1 defense in the league, by far. Those guys are tough. And then Mac Jones is just brilliant. He's out there. He's taking his time. He doesn't make mistakes. And that's that huge key for New England. They are number 5. New England started this countdown at 22. They were number 22 on our countdown at one point. And now look at them at number 5 and climbing. They're the number 2 seed in the AFC. If they can beat Buffalo this week, that'll give them pretty much a 2-game lead in the AFC East. And that's a tough one for me. I don't know who I'm picking in this game. I have no clue who I'm gonna pick in this game, and I'm still the jury's still out. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But we got New England at number 5 and Mac Jones and the crew, man. Mac Jones and the crew. Number 4, the Baltimore Ravens, 8-3, best team in the AFC, number 1 seed in the AFC at the current time. And the numbers read Ravens, Patriots, and then you have Ravens, Patriots, and then you have the Titans, and then the Chiefs. That's that division leaders right now in the AFC. But Baltimore, once again, one of those, they just find ways to win. They're not pretty all the time, but they find ways. At number 3, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is, they got the Falcons this week. That should be a dub. Tampa Bay had a really tough matchup against the Colts. Really tough matchup. That's why I picked the Colts, because I thought they could pull it off. It looked like they were going to pull it off, and then they didn't. We got Tampa Bay at number 3. At number 2, on a bye this week, the Green Bay Packers. This Packer fan is happy. You probably saying, "Oh, you're being biased." Look, man, they're 9-3. The only 9-3 team in the league. The only 9-3 team in the league, and they beat the team that we have at number 1. So I could have put them at number 1. Then you really would have said I was biased. But no, the Packers right now, defense number 3 in the league. The offense is starting to cook a little bit. No, Aaron Jones hasn't been his best because of the injury, but man, A.J. Dillon has been a godsend for the Green Bay Packers. A couple of years ago when they made the pick, it didn't look like a high pick, but it's looking like a really good pick right now. So kudos to the Green Bay Packers on that. They're number 2. And number 1, of course, the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona is now 9-2 as they are heading into their bye this week. Arizona is just one of those teams that, they've played hard. They've been tough. And I'm excited to see what they can do here as they head into week 13. Excuse me, they had their bye last week, and then this week they're playing the Bears. So excuse me on that note. But yes, the Cardinals on their bye. They've got a chance to be the first 10-win team in the league as they take on the Bears. The Bears are going to do their best to stop them. I don't see it happening though. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Those are our power rankings for week 13, or at least heading into week 13. Of course, you know how we do. We're going to go ahead and go through them one more time, and then we're going to give you our top 5 MVP candidates heading into week 13. First of all, the bottom, you got the Lions, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Jets, the Seahawks, Giants, Bears, Panthers, Saints, Eagles, Falcons, and Dolphins. That's 32-21 in that order. Then in the outside looking in, the Vikings at 20, the Washington football team at 19, the Steelers at 18, the Broncos at 17, the Raiders at 16. The Browns hit the top 15 at number 15. Then the Chargers at 14, the 49ers at 13, the Colts at 12, the Rams at 11, the Cincinnati Bengals at 10, the Kansas City Chiefs hitting 9 spot, the Tennessee Titans falling from number 1, falling from grace slowly at number 8. The Dallas Cowboys also have fell back the last couple of weeks. They're at 7. The Buffalo Bills are at 6. The New England Patriots at 5. The number 4 team, the Baltimore Ravens. Number 3, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Number 2, the Green Bay Packers. And number 1, the Arizona Cardinals. There it is. Those are our power rankings one last time. And let's go ahead and hit you up, ladies and gentlemen, with our last midseason list, because next week it'll be the late season list. All right, so we hit you up with the midseason list for our MVPs. Another great week for Derek Carr has kind of got him slid back into the MVP conversation. That stat that I told you, every game he throws for 300 yards, which has been 6, he's 6-0. The games he's throwing for under, he's 0-5. So Derek Carr sneaks back in there. First time I haven't had Kyler Murray in there, even despite the injury. But I just had to give Carr some love this week after last week's performance. Number 4, Dak Prescott. He's still in the mix, but he's got to figure out things in Dallas and get them boys together and start showing that the money that he has earned. So we'll see what goes there. And number 3, Lamar Jackson. I could easily move Lamar up. He could be number 1 on this list the way he keeps pulling off victories for that Baltimore Ravens team. But we got Lamar at 3. At number 2, Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are cruising right now. And Aaron's been almost, I don't say perfect, but he's been pretty close. The team has been in a really good spot. And in that 1 week that he didn't play, it showed. So I mean, right now the Packers probably should be 10-2. But that is for another day, and we could have that conversation all day. And number 1, Jonathan Taylor. He has had a phenomenal year. And I know I talk about it every week. He's my MVP right now until somebody can just blow my mind away. And right now, I just think he's been the most important player on any team besides Lamar. I know that sounds crazy, but it's such a tight race for me between those 3 at the top: Taylor, Rodgers, and Jackson. There it is, our last midseason list. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode of 101 and the power rankings as we head into week 13. Once again, I thank you all for tuning in. Enjoy the game tonight between Dallas and the Saints. Should be a fun Thursday night game. Much needed win for both teams. The way the NFC is starting to pan out, it's a much needed win. And if you're Dallas, you don't want to lose this one, knowing that you have Washington next. And Washington, if they can win this week, this puts Washington in the spot where they could potentially take the division lead. Boy, oh boy, it's going to be interesting. Well, once again, everybody, I'm your man, Darrell Owens. This has been 1-on-1. on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Make sure you check out our platforms. Make sure you hit up the Legacy Maker Sports Network on all our social media accounts. We're on everything. Not Twitch yet. Maybe Twitch one day, but we're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, and we are on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. Check us out. I'm your man, Darrell Owens. Until next time, peace.
One. Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one.